Only HD can make a sexual innuendo out of eating turkey.
Oh, come on. That was not sexual in any way, shape, or
Dude,
form.
you're actually, like, really good at it.
I
think you do it sometimes without even noticing.
We're going off topic. Time to get back to the game. We've got Mr. Dragon over here, Blue Protoss, excuse me. I'm getting colorblind now, too, in my old age. We've got Green Protoss down here, GoSu.Gatored.
All right. Last game, Yong with a solid all-in off of one base right there. I thought Gator might have been able to hold that. I think he put up the cannons a little bit too late. Maybe wanted 4 cannons instead of 3. The third cannon came up right at the end of the all-in there. I don't know. We'll have to see.
And that 4th cannon probably would have been the difference between holding that off and dying. And, you know, he had a good game sense to throw cannons up.
Yep.
He just kind of realized that something was going to happen and something big was about to happen. So
I think anytime you expand in Protoss versus Protoss, you can assume that something's going to happen. You're going to get all in.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Or he's going to drop in a Nexus and you're going to have enough time to, like, macro out of it.
You know, you make a good point, though. I wonder why we don't see more Protosses doing something like expanding with cannons for safety.
What, like a Forge FE?
Maybe not Forge FE per se, but maybe expanding and then getting cannons after you play some kind of 3-gate or 4-gate mechanic.
We just saw that.
Exactly. I wonder why we don't see more Protoss do what Gator did.
Oh, because he just got his ass kicked.
Okay, you got me there. But I know 4 cannons.
I think actually if he had made more cannons, he would have been in a much better spot to hold it off. That's for sure.
If every Protoss started doing 4 cannons after the Nexus, that might be enough to hold things off.
Huge investment, though.
That is. That's what.
If your opponent sees
600 minerals.
If your opponent,
for the Nexus,
if your opponent sees you doing it, he can just drop a Nexus and choose not to make one like warp cycle of units from his 4-gate. Because he had, what, 4-gate Robo Stargate? Mm-hmm. So if he just cuts one cycle of units from his 4-gate, then he can just make a Nexus, and his Nexus is slightly later than yours, but you've invested 600 in cannons that probably aren't going to really play a factor in any kind of fighting out on the midfield.
Right.
So you have to be pretty sure that an engagement's going to go down at your natural if you're going to invest that much in cannons. You have to be almost positive. And there's no way you can do that. So that's probably why. Static D is, like, iffy. The cool thing about Terran Static D is you can recycle it. So it's like not nearly as big of a commitment. You can always recycle your bunkers, right? It's quite nice.
Yes. That's probably why in Heart of the Swarm Blizzard is trying to implement the little arc light cannon thing that you can put on a building, which I don't really like. I think it's kind of a little band-aid fix for Protoss not having a big enough defender's advantage. But that's my opinion.
I think it's insanely good.
I still think it's like a Band-Aid, though, don't you?
A Band-Aid for what? Their lack of static D?
Exactly.
I thought cannons are great.
No. Their lack of a defender's advantage in Protoss versus Protoss. The Arc Light Cannon, the spell that comes from the Nexus.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of a Band-Aid fix. I think they need to fix like the core fundamental issue. Unless people just like watching, balls out PvP action, then by all means.
Yeah, it'll be kind of weird to see how that works its way into competitive play. People are going to come up with some crazy builds.
It actually makes things more offensive when you think about it, because you could just proxy an assimilator and then put the cannon on the assimilator.
Yeah.
And
cannon rushes become a lot better too, because you can wall in your cannons with pylons, and then you can turn the pylons into cannons as well. So, like,
forget walling in. You can just build a freaking pylon and a cannon and make the pylon a second cannon.
That's what I mean. Yeah. That's exactly what I mean. Like, you know how you wall cannons in behind the mineral line? You use 2 pylons to block off the 2 locations for Zerglings to get in, and then you put up 2 cannons, and then you can also turn the 2 cannons into arc light cannons as well.
This is interesting.
This time we have Gator going for Phoenixes.
Gator taking a page out of Yong's book. I guess he was really impressed by the Stargate opening. It's like, you know what, I'm going to try this build out. I'm going to go ahead and take it for my own. And this is the thing about StarCraft 2 that makes it so beautiful. You play so often against players, and I'm not saying Gator is going to steal Yong's build or anything. He is certainly kind of imitating a little bit. But in StarCraft 2, the more you play, you start to adapt the best builds. And it keeps evolving over and over and over again. And that's what makes StarCraft 2 so flexible, so evolving. You literally see a new flavor of the month every month.
Yeah, for sure. And this time around, Gator going with the Phoenix build, but Yong actually went with a very, very early Robo this game, and he has an OBS en route to Gatored's base, and I'm pretty sure it's going to see those Phoenixes. It's going to see the Stargate, and Gator's not going to be able to catch him by surprise with the Phoenixes, which is the whole point of doing a build like this. You have to catch the opponent by surprise. He actually might miss those. Oh my
wow,
god.
He will miss them.
So he may be actually able to get in there and do some damage, but
yeah.
Once he sees this Stargate, he's going to know exactly what's going on. He'll be able to move his forces into position. Let's check the main and see what kind of damage is being done by those Phoenixes.
Well, they're just coming in right now, and it looks like they will do some damage. 3 Phoenixes with good energy. Only 2 Stalkers and a Sentry here, so the anti-air is really lacking, but 2 more Stalkers just being warped down. Emergency warp in from Yong, and he will be able to hold it off. Immediately seeing the Phoenixes, what does he decide to do? He does what Gator did. He's going to throw a Twilight Council and try to get Blink down, and he canceled the... I know somebody was getting a robotic support bay, and I think that was canceled upon seeing the Phoenix.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't see the support bay anymore. I believe it was canceled.
Wow, he actually used Guardian Shield right there. Interesting.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know what the purpose behind that was. I think he just kind of pressed the wrong button.
Well, no, I mean, it's actually really good against Phoenixes.
That's just true, because if you get levitated, then they're protected.
Yeah, but, I mean, he's probably not going to try and pick something up if it's in range of a Guardian Shielded Sentry and all those Stalkers. I mean, he just needs to protect his mineral line here. And that's exactly what he's doing. He's just keeping his forces nice and tight. And it's a good thing Phoenixes can't shoot buildings, or even if they had like a light attack that could attack buildings, because that would just make them so much more irritating. Right now, he just needs to hold his Nexus, keep all of his units there, and prevent his mineral line from getting sniped and taken out.
If Phoenixes had a light attack to hit buildings, that would make them a Wraith.
Pretty much. They'd be insane.
They'd be exactly like the Wraith.
Wraiths were awesome.
Oh, your Wraiths were great.
They were so cool.
An Observer comes in here, checks out Gator,
stacked like 60 of them.
Going for a Nexus once again.
I don't know if Phoenix expand into Nexus is safe at all.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Risky.
I mean, if Yong wanted to push out right now, he could just throw 1 cannon up to be safe, push out. Well, there is a sizable army from Gator. Not too shabby, I think. Basically, after going for a Stargate opening, he still has a decent army on the ground. But yeah, another expansion coming up from Yong.
Yong's just a bit later than Gator's, which is okay, though, because he hasn't taken any damage to these Phoenixes, and he's going to have Blink pretty soon. Or he does have Blink already, I think.
I'm just going to stick my camera on follow on these Phoenixes, because they're moving around so fast, it's giving me a little vertigo. So I'm going to go ahead and just hold the camera down. Enjoy the ride.
Where is he going to go with these Phoenixes? He's mostly just scouting with them. He needs to be careful now, though, because there are Blink Stalkers out, like I said. And he's just going to continually use these Phoenixes to work around the main, figure out what's going on, scout, try and pick off probes where he can. But these Phoenixes certainly haven't done enough damage, I don't think, to pay for themselves yet.
Like the little shift key rally right here, just kind of dancing, playing tango, if you will, with the Stalkers. And of course, Stalkers, even with the Blink ability, they're still not nearly as agile nor mobile as the Phoenix really are. But, you know, Yong's Nexus is considerably later, so at this point, I gotta give credit to Gator. I think he pulled off the expand. I think he has an advantage. And despite having the weaker army, because he does have Phoenix, I think it's been equalized a little bit because of all the time he's had to really, you know, mine minerals and get gas out of this natural.
Yeah. Well, here we go now, moving out finally with those Phoenixes again, but Yong just splitting his army perfectly into both locations so he can hold his natural and his main without taking any damage.
Probe will go down.
Pick off that scouting probe. So Gator's doing a good job containing Yong with these Phoenixes. He's really playing the contain game right now, but Yong doesn't seem too phased by it. He's continuing to warp in units. He's continuing to macro. I don't think Gator has achieved a sizable advantage yet with these Phoenixes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know what the deal is right now for Gator. He's just kind of flying around, not really knowing what he's going to do yet. That is a huge medevac. Did you ever notice that?
No.
That is a ginormous medevac. I'm sorry, guys. We're totally being distracted, but that is the biggest medevac I've ever seen. And now the Phoenix find an opening. They pick off a couple probes.
But a few Phoenix do go down.
Of a one Phoenix, I think.
Did he originally have 5 or 6?
I believe he had 5, so he lost.
Now,
1.
Back at Gator's base, what is going on? What's he up to? Just getting +1.
Support bay on the way.
Is he getting an Immortal as well? Yes. He's getting Blink. So both players
runs the Phoenix over the Blink. Stalkers could lose a second one, does not. He gets out of there just in time, and now a proxy pylon in the middle of the map, fielding reinforcements.
Blink Stalkers for Yong.
Oh yeah, Yong has a lot of forces, but look at how many Immortals Gator's got.
Only 4 though. Look how many Stalkers that is. That's an insane amount of Blink Stalkers.
I think the Immortals can handle it, man. That's 5 Immortals.
Yeah, he might be able to hold on here. It's going to be close. Great force fields, though, thus far out of Gator.
Matter because he can blink away.
Just needs to fall back a little bit. He's got to be so careful here. He does have 5 Immortals. God, they're so good against Stalkers.
Oh, you bet, man. I think
especially with the +1 range now.
I think Yong should probably forget making too many Stalkers here and just go for the Zealots. Force field's going down to keep the Zealots away. Of course, Zealots can't blink. And now the Zealots finally making their way in, but they get shot to death. It's a Gatling range of Immortals spraying the Zealot down, and it never made its way in.
Gator actually doing a really good job right here. He's killing so many Stalkers of Yong's. And now picking up both the Immortals. They are both airborne. They're not going to be involved in this fight, and that's terrible for Yong. He's losing so many Stalkers. Picks up the Immortals again, so they're not firing the entire time. That's so smart from Gator. Really brilliant moves, and he's losing all of his Stalkers, Yong is, and he's just getting crushed right here.
Yeah, he's about to get rolled right now by this Immortal army. Great play with the Immortals. 1 kill, 6 kills, 4 kills, most of that being Stalkers, so you can imagine how much of a hefty loss Yong's already taken this game, and now he's going to lose the rest of his army. That's a GG, man.